Okay, so today we are going to prep a seller's packet for disclosures using our car forms or zip forms and DocuSign. The property we're going to do today is 391 Emerald Avenue, number 2. It is a Keller Williams file, so we can go ahead and use our own car forms or zip forms. So you go to car.org, select Transaction Center. We're going to use Zip Forms Plus. You're going to go in, and this is if we've never gotten the listing prior to this. We're not going to have a file. We're not going to have anything. We're just going to get an accepted offer. They're going to send it to us, and they are going to expect us to go ahead and send all of the disclosures over. Oh my goodness. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and sign in. You're going to come to this screen. This is like a 3-part process to get into your zip forms. You're going to hit continue. It's going to take you to the main page. This is the page that will have all of the files for the various transactions. So that is eventually where it will land us to, and you'll see here that we have all the different transactions. So the way I like to name them is not by the client and not by the agent. That would just get really way too confusing. We go ahead and do it by property address. So today we're doing Kelly Garver's listing. It's 391 Emerald Avenue, number 2. It's going to be a listing and residential. So you always need to select the transaction type and the property type. Now we know that this is a listing. We're prepping disclosures. We're going to go ahead and select the Keller Williams La Jolla disclosures template. What this does is it will pull in all of those forms right into the transaction. So we'll go ahead and hit save. And it's going to load it all up, and you will see we have all of these forms are already in the folder. They're all in here. Now, you may not need all of these forms, right? Based on whether or not it's an FHA loan, whether or not it's built before 1978. But this is like whether or not it's a condo. This is kind of the most comprehensive list for the Keller Williams checklist. So in order to keep moving forward, you can come over here and select cover sheet. You can go down to the cover sheet, open it up. All right, so typically we do not enter in the buyer's information when we're doing a seller packet. This is in case the buyer backs out or falls through. We have a complete set of disclosures that we don't need to alter in any way, shape, or form. So I have the contact sheet printed on my desk, so I'm looking at that. We know that the seller is John R. B. Bell. We're going to want to click this little checkbox right here. This means it's going to put an X by anywhere that the seller needs to sign. We don't really need to worry about his street address. We're just going to want to put in his email address now. So it's john.r.b.bell@gmail.com. And we're just doing this so it'll auto-populate the rest of the forms. So we're going to go ahead and put in 391 Emerald Avenue, number 2. And this is in El Cajon, County of San Diego, State of California, zip code 92020. We don't need to worry about the legal description. If you're filling out offers, which we don't do, all of this becomes much more important. At this point, we just want to go ahead and put in the listing broker's information, and you will see why in a minute. It's going to help you when we have to fill out that SBSA. All this information is already going to be there. BRE license number. Oops, wrong one. Keller Williams La Jolla. Did not mean to open that. There we go. City, La Jolla, California, 92037. Telephone number. I go ahead and I always put the office number. It's just easier than trying to look up all the agents' numbers. We got Kelly Garver. See if she's in my list. Here she is. Here's her BRE number. And then we're going to want to put her email address, which I don't have, but I know it off the top of my head. It's kelly.garver@kw.com. All right, we're going to do that. And the reason we're going to do that is now when you come over here to buyer's inspection elections, you will see that that address is completely filled out. We didn't put buyer information, so it's not there. We always want to include the buyer's inspection elections and the buyer's inspection waiver in every seller's disclosure packet. So we're not only putting in the forms that the seller needs to sign, but we're putting in the forms that we need in the file, even if it's only a buyer signed form. And the reason we do that is so that we get it. So if you don't provide it, there's not a guarantee that you will get it back signed by the buyer if it's a form that their broker doesn't require. All right, so we know that this property was built in 1977, so we're going to leave a lead-based paint. We're just going to come in here and check California real estate agreement. We're going to go dated. The contract was dated 6/24. Again, I'm not going to worry about putting buyer's information in. It's just how we roll. On the top of every page is usually a date. You're going to want to go in and click it on the date that we're preparing it. And you're basically just going to kind of go through each form, make sure they have a date, make sure they have our seller's signature on it if it's required, make sure that the address loads up. It's a condo. We want to make sure this parking and storage is on there. So we're going to go ahead and click the date. Qualified substitute. We don't get this signed now, but I always bring it in because we will need it. So if you have the information, you can go ahead and fill it out and then send it to title for them to sign and then get the buyer's signature on it. So you'll see like it gets Fidelity National Title Escrow. We don't know who's going to sign it, so we're not going to worry about that. Transfer disclosure statement, you're going to want to go in here again and date it on the 29th. It's whatever day you send it. It's typically the day the seller will fill it out. Make sure everybody's stuff is good in here. Keller Williams, they have to do a visual inspection. Go ahead and check that. We know that no one here is signing as any other capacity than themselves. We'll go ahead and delete it. Seller property questionnaire. We can go ahead and add in that assessor's parcel number. Again, if you had filled out more of the contact sheet, then this will all come in automatically. Just know if you put some information in there wrong, it will populate it wrong through the entire thing as well. Oh. I need to go back. Slow computer. All right. So again, you want to make sure you put this date here so that date's all the way down. So once you put a date there, it'll date. But I need to go back here to the seller's property questionnaire because I forgot to put a date on the first page that has a date spot, which is the second page in this case. And now it goes ahead and populates that. It's so much easier if you put the dates in now than waiting. So we already put the date on that. We want to go to that bottom page, and I want to show you. See, it filled in everybody's information. Obviously, it did not pull over that phone number, though. So we'll go ahead and put that in. There we go. Pulled in all the rest of her information, pulled in his information. And again, you just kind of go down the line, use your checklist, and whatever is required is what you're going to want to make sure is in this file. So you're just going to go down again. Okay, so the final verification of property condition, we don't represent the buyer. We probably don't need to have that in here. I just leave it kind of as a placeholder in case we need one, but we won't be sending that. Get the mold advisory. We have the local area disclosure. We have the homeowner's guide. So make sure that's filled out. This is not pre-1960, so we do not need an earthquake report. We go ahead and get rid of that. I leave a contingency removal in here as well. It's just kind of a placeholder. It's a form that we typically will need. The same with the verification, along with that QS. So we're not going to actually send those to be signed right now. We'll send those later. So if there were any additional documents you needed to add for whatever reason, who knows why, right? Say you were also going to send an agent's visual inspection disclosure along with this. You could go ahead and select it here on the right, and it will pull the form into your transaction over here. It'll show it on the left. It'll fill in the center. Now that's from the car library. If you needed any kind of San Diego risk management, you would pull it in from this side. You can change your libraries. If you needed an EPUB, so you needed the actual booklets, you could select them here and they will go in. If you know, say this, we're doing a trust, so we need the water heater smoke detector. We could go ahead and select that here, select it, it brings it in. And so that's the different ways you can kind of search for those documents over here. Then anything with a big blue line is what is already in your folder, right? So these are all the documents. I'm going to go in here and we're going to delete these because we don't need them. It's just more to show you how you can pull in documents. So what we're going to do now is we can actually send directly from here into DocuSign. So the easiest way I've found is on a seller's disclosure packet is you're always going to want to put anything that has to be filled out in front. So we're going to put the TDS first, then we're going to put the seller's property questionnaire, and then we would put the earthquake disclosure if you needed it or if it was required. So the easiest way to make it that way to upload to DocuSign I have found is to just select them that way now. So we'll go ahead and hit real estate transfer disclosure statement, TDS, we'll get here, we'll go to e-sign, sign multiple forms. So now every form that was in your transaction is here and you can select them. So we're going to select seller's property questionnaire, lead-based paint, and then we will just select the others that we need, skipping the qualified substitute, statewide, wire fraud, water conservation. We're going to skip verification, mold, local, home. This is not the most current version, unfortunately, of the Keller Williams, so we're going to skip it and we don't need to send the cover sheet. So this is what we have here. So we're going to go ahead and select next. It will take us into DocuSign after we select who we want to have those automatic tags. So if we select John here and we select Kelly, those tags are going to show up automatically in DocuSign. So we're going to hit done, next. And at this point, once it opens up into DocuSign, you can then select any other documents you needed. So say you had a San Diego water cert that you needed to include, or in this case, we're going to include the NHD report. We're going to include a Keller Williams affiliated business disclosure. So these documents can now be brought into the transaction through DocuSign. So you'll see this DocuSign landing page. You're going to go ahead and click the back button. Now you see all of those forms, but we have a few more, like I was mentioning, that we need to upload. So here we go. We're going to upload, go to Dropbox, go to clients, go to agents. We're going to find Kelly. We're going to find Emerald Avenue number 2, go to disclosures. There's the home warranty. Not sure where the disclosure source is. Doesn't look like it was put in there yet. So let's go over here to mail. Oops, too far. we're going to find that file. Here's the NHD report. We're going to drop that down onto the desktop. We're going to rename it Emerald NHD. Now we're going to come over here and pull it off our desktop. So we're going to find Emerald NHD. We're going to upload it. Now we're going to add the broker required files. So if you had Berkshire Hathaway, Pacific Sotheby's, Keller Williams, they all have their own mandatory forms. We're going to put them in there. We're going to switch these two around. There we go. You'll see John is selected number 1 and Kelly is selected number 2. I take those off. I want them both to receive it at the same time. We are going to label this Seller's Disclosures to fill out and sign. And then you're going to go into your notes or into your Evernote. You're going to pull these notes for DocuSign. You're going to grab the bottom two right there. You're going to put them here, paste them. We're going to say, "Hi, John," and close to the seller's disclosures. This is first 7 pages will require you to answer the questions and sign. Anything with a yes box checked, please provide a brief explanation in the space provided on the document. The rest are advisories for you to provide to the buyer. Not all of them will require a seller's signature. Since we only have one person, we can take this one person out. We want to leave our contact information because this is the most difficult thing, or the thing that could be the most challenging or confusing for a client, is to actually go through and fill these out, because the system kind of automatically takes you to initial it and leave. So we're going to hit next. Anytime you see this manage PDF form field data, you want to keep the PDF form data. Hit confirm. And now we're on the first page of the TDS. You're going to see right now we're sitting on John. I want to add a note for John. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, please check all boxes that, if I could type, that apply. All right, so this note, he's the only one that sees this. It doesn't show up to anybody else, and we're just going to kind of set that right there. Okay, and then we are going to add another note onto here. And again, this is something you could template. You can please check yes or no. Maybe please answer. Please answer the questions and anything with a yes box, provide an explanation. There we go. Again, you can kind of fix that. And now only he is going to see that. So we're going to copy and paste this one. Again, you just want to kind of go through, make sure all the tags are where they are, that it didn't lose anything. Here we are on the SPQ. We're going to add another note. I'm going to stick it right here. Copy and paste. This just lets them know they can go through the SPQ. It comes out all tagged, all beautiful. Lead-based paint, same thing. So this really cuts down on your time. The biggest time that you're going to spend is actually preparing it in Carforms. So anything that came from Carforms over here is going to automatically be tagged if it was something that the seller or the listing agent needs to sign, because those were the tags we placed. So you'll see this SBSA is all tagged. We just keep moving down. Now the only 2 things that are not going to be tagged are going to be the ones that we uploaded, the disclosure source and the Keller Williams. So for the Keller Williams, what I do is I tag the agent. I make them put in the address, 391 Emerald Avenue, Numero Dos, El Cajon, California, 92020. We'll pull this apart. We are going to put back to John. He's the seller, the signature, date. I know that this is like about the 3rd page of the NHD. put the seller's signature, date, agent, date. There we go. And that should be it. Now, since it's just a condo built in 1977, doesn't look like it's FHA or anything super special, so we're good. This is all we should need. It's got the bulk of our disclosures. What's nice, everything's already all auto tagged. Okay, so we're gonna hit send. It's gonna send it out, and that's all she wrote. There you go. It's been sent. Thanks for watching.